All right, welcome to, I hope was just not the first and last episode of what we're calling Between Two Biomes. Now, if you're a course designer, you get the joke, right? You totally get the joke. I'm Master Blaster. I'm here with another designer, Mashie. Mashie, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thanks, Master Blasta. It's Mashie, based out of Colorado, and I've done most of my courses around the Colorado mountain range, is where I've been doing Rocky Mountains.
Sweet. Yeah, and they're fantastic. We're going to get into one of Mashie's courses today. We're going to do a deep dive on it. But the way that this program is going to work, if we do more of these, if this is popular, we're going to do what I call the quick hit list. And let me move my video down here so you can see this. So the quick list is going to be, we hope to do this weekly if we've got time. Maybe we won't. But the quick list design is, hey, let's look at the courses that were released into SGT in the past week and just do like some quick screenshots and give you an idea of what they are. So the quick list for this week, and we'll show you some screenshots, which is Trophy Lake Golf and Casting by Scott H67. We got one by Tech Bud. We know Tech Bud is the prolific guy, right? He does. I mean, you could expect one from him every week, right?
Every week there'll be a tech bud. I think that's a
Right,
guarantee.
or
You're right.
two, or three,
Or
right?
two.
And then Domain Laforest. We'll have a lot about that. Is it crazed? Crazed?
I think it's crazy. Yeah, he's we got to know him a little bit through the Discord channel, through the designer Discord channel. He's been just coming on really strong with some
Right?
amazing
Is
courses.
this his second or third course?
I think it's his second course, and he's got a third in the
Yeah.
works. And I
Well,
tell you
let's
what,
yeah, let's
I
let's
wish
let's
I
hold it because
started
let's
out as
talk
good as
about
he
that
did.
one. Okay, we'll talk about that. And then we got another newcomer here, Mayflower, and that's again another Z Hanky. I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah, okay. But so we got
Okay.
yeah, so we got two guys that got their blues this week. Scott and let's call him Z Hank. Z
Z
Hank
Hank.
is good enough. And if he wants it
Z
said to
Hank.
him, he'll let us know, right? So two newcomers and then some guy who's fairly new in Tech Bud. That's Tech Bud, right? So let's dive into these, right?
Yep.
So
That's
let me
fine.
move my video around here because you might want to read this or I'm going to read it to you. There's no good place to put it up here. So Trophy Lake and golf casting. Um, it's actually personally, I was surprised. It's a decently long course from the tips, but I like the description. Like, I want to play it because it's this fishing lodge style clubhouse, man. This sounds like my deal. What do you think, man? Sounds cool?
Listen, I played through this course, and I was really surprised. I didn't know what to expect from just the name of it, right?
Yeah.
And then when I loaded up the course, I felt like I was at a quaint fishing village. I mean, the only thing missing were people on the side of the lakes just casting away and
Yeah.
pulling in fish.
So looking at the scoreboard, the one thing that surprised me though, and if you're going to play this, be careful. Look, default stimp is 13. So if you
Yeah.
play with the default settings, if you're not used to playing 13, guess what? Your ball's going to the other side of the green. And if you're not a designer, you wouldn't know that that game actually gives you, or not the game, Greenskeeper, which is one of our tools, gives you a suggestion on what stimp. And this is saying, so the greens are probably pretty flat. Did you notice anything about the greens
I
being flat?
I did. Most of the greens were very well. I played it at Stem 13. I thought most of the greens were pretty fair. I will say that a fair number of them did have some fall off at the edges of the green.
Okay.
But if you got your shots to the middle, it was pretty good. But they were speedy.
Nice. Okay. Well, if default stimp 13, yeah, they're going to be stimped. I don't play at 13. I don't do it. So what I always like to do is load up hole number one. Let me try to move my video. Actually, maybe I'll just minimize the video here so you guys don't have to stare at us and you can get the full immersion here. So hole number one, screenshot of hole one. I tell you what, that grass looks really dense and I was really worried about performance, but hey, on my laptop, which I try to see a 30 with the VSync off or higher over here, performs well. What do you think?
It it does, but listen, I'm a bad judge of performance, partially on my designs and partially on how I play because like I'm running a brand new 3080 Ti card in my
Yikes.
machine, and
Hot rod.
so
You got the hot
I
rod.
generally exactly I generally don't have performance increases. It does run really well though. I thought it ran great. I was running in the 50 plus with VSync off on my frames. And I listen, it was fun. I mean, it was a good course. It's pretty green. It's interesting that the contrast between I thought between the yellows and browns of the grass and then the dark green of the fairways. It's a pretty interesting contrasting visual from the tee boxes.
Yeah. Um, The one thing I did notice though, he's got the same tree everywhere. It
Yep.
looks really nice, but if you're paid, and this is for us designers, right? We're very critical about this stuff. He's got the
For sure.
same. He didn't use any other different greens, but if he wanted to use the same, maybe just change the hue a little bit between the trees. But I
Yeah,
think for a first
I
course
agree.
though, right? Whew.
First course, it's great. I would have thrown in one or two additional trees just to vary the trees up. I love the custom clubhouse, and
Yes.
there's a lot of custom elements. The bridges are not the
Yeah.
standard
What
bridges.
now? This is a 9-hole course though, so just be aware if you're going to play this, it's nine, and then he repeats the 9 holes to make it 18. So just be aware you might want to play nine, and don't be surprised. But this is off. This is the last hole in 18. I love it when the new guys do custom clubhouses. I don't know if
I,
he did this one or someone did it for him, but I'm a sucker for a good clubhouse.
it adds such. And listen, I've done both. We've done custom clubhouses and the non-custom clubhouse.
Yep,
And I will tell you, in all the courses that I've done where I've spent the time and worked with someone to build a custom clubhouse, it adds that little element of just uniqueness to
it
the
makes it
course, and I love
authentic,
it.
right? It makes it
Correct.
authentic. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
All right, so good course.
Had
Now
fun with this one too.
yeah, and so let's go to Tech Buzz. So Palm Beach Country
Okay.
Club. He showed a couple screenshots of this in the beta channel, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to play this with my indoor league because we live in Pennsylvania. It's winter, and this course just made me feel warm when I opened it up.
It's
Right?
Masta, I can't. It's so funny you said that because I'm in Colorado and it's cold right now. And when I played this course and I loaded it up, my first thought was the exact same thing. I felt warm. I was sitting in Florida, and just loved it. It was great. Really, really. And I mean, someone needs to teach tech how to do a course because
Yeah, right. You just learn. You just learn. The only note on this is it's on the shorter side, but honestly, I like
yes.
shorter courses. And I don't mind a 50. And the guys, I indoor league, we can't really swing. I can swing driver because I've swim, but the other guys have indoor swing syndrome, so they don't. I think it's going to be perfect course for my league, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
I like personally a longer course. I generally play 65 to 6,900 yards at altitude. Kind of comes down a little bit if I go down to sea level. So I like a longer course. I like hitting driver off holes, but I also will admit I like a shorter course too because it forces you to not hit driver, and that's a skill I haven't quite learned yet.
Yeah. Now Tech Bud, he didn't do much on his custom, so he cranks out so many courses. So no wind. So make sure you turn on the wind a little bit. Get those palm trees moving.
Yep.
Change your fairways and your greens to your normal. Now my concern here though is he's got a default stimp of 10. Max stimp that the greenkeeper put is a 10. That means believe that these greens might be a little wavy.
They there was some double tier greens. There was some medium
Ah,
greens. I actually played them up a little bit. I moved it up to about 11 on when I played through this course, and I didn't notice it was a problem. Like I didn't run into any issues where I
well,
couldn't play it.
yeah, and that's where that double, if you have a double tier green and greenkeeper, it's automatically going to put it low, and you can't fix
Yep,
that because the tier makes it seem steep for the whole course. So good point
exactly.
there. Good point. So hole number one, I like it. It's the shoot, right? It's narrow.
It's shoot.
I love it. Makes you feel warm. A little intimidating, but don't let this. It opens up though. It opens up after this hole. So this is hole
I
eight.
will tell you, Master, on number one, I thought it was funny. On number one, it's a pretty open course. You were right. Once you get through the chute there, it is a pretty open course. I hit my drive a left on number one, and then I thought I had manually lined myself. I was kind of in between holes. I thought I'd lined myself. I apparently had lined myself up to the wrong green.
Oops.
Apparently, I need to learn how to use GSPro.
Oops.
And so my short wedge landed in this beautiful pond. You've got you show right there. So um, go where the big square sign that says 202 is. That's
Yeah.
the best place to go.
Yeah. One of the reasons I brought up this screenshot is because I love when Tech Bud, you can tell if he commissioned this and someone paid for it, they paid a pretty penny because he didn't go all he went all out on this. Like the details on the water here, putting like the swampy look to it.
Yep. Yep.
It's really cool like that. And
There's even a section. I don't know if we have a screenshot of it, but there's a section where he actually has a couple of maintenance sheds with trucks and stuff in it off to the side. So if you actually fly around, you'll see stuff off course, little
yeah,
Easter eggs off course.
yeah. I think this must have been commissioned because this isn't to like the Tech Bug course that I see him doing for fun. To me, this is a course that someone paid for and just said, "Give me the Cadillac," right?
Yeah, this isn't Niagara Falls.
No. Although he doesn't have custom T markers, so I'm surprised
He
there. If
does
he was get,
not. Yeah.
yeah, that's surprising.
Yeah.
So maybe this was a fun one for him. I'm not sure.
I don't
So
think there's custom flags either.
yeah, you're right. So who knows? We'll find out from Tech. We'll have to get him on here at some point. He's a great guy.
I would love to have him on here. That'd be great.
All right, so here's the this is cool. I mean, just the name, Domaine Laforest, right? um, I tell you what, I did a little research on this, and I didn't know about this course, but it's one of the most exclusive courses in the world. You can't find much information about it. I want to talk to Crazy about this because I want to know how he even got like the course map. How did he figure out which holes,
Yeah.
distances? I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I would love we need to get him on here to talk about that. I'd love to hear how he did all that. It is also, I think, just one of the true testaments to GS Pro
Ugh,
that we can
right?
play a course like this and none of us would have access to.
Yeah. So let's. This is hole one, and like it's great
Uh,
because like that elevation drop. I don't have the pin, but I think this is like a 30-yard drop or something. So you could just get this great long drive on your first hole, right?
yeah, and as someone, I mean, I think 98% of my courses have elevation drops, right? That's what I do is kind of
Yeah,
my
right.
thing. This is gorgeous. The trees, the variation, the hue, the satellite imagery, the custom T markers, everything. When I loaded this course up for the first time, it was like, wow.
Yeah, primo course, right? If we start with those tiers, like this is like platinum, right?
Yeah.
Platinum,
Yeah.
and the bunkers are really just well done. Let's go to another. So this is three. Again, the custom T markers, I love them. They're simple, they're elegant, right? They fit with the theme of the course. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, listen, if you don't like tree line courses, you are not going to like this course. Run, Pud, Run. I'm sorry, my friend. I know how much you hate tree line courses like this. This is a tough course if you tend to spray your driver. I'll be honest with you. If you're pretty straight, or you can play a nice, if you can control your driver with a nice little draw or a little cut, then this is a great course for you.
Yeah. The one thing I did found, and you can see my screenshot, see my frame rate, 26.
Yeah,
So that's under
yeah,
the 30 that I like to see. So this is going to be an intensive course. If you got a lower end GPU, this is the one you might have to not run in ultra, right? Back it
yeah.
off.
And the one thing I did notice, I did fly around and moused around the entire inner terrain of the course. He actually lines the entire inner terrain with trees. So there may be some ability for him to improve that by taking some of the far away trees or billboard them differently.
So one of the interesting things I found was that I think actually maybe it's your course. Now I can't remember. I found that his maybe I'm getting these confused. Underneath, I looked at his inner terrain underneath, and he
Yep,
still has it in there. It's very jagged. That could be pulling performance off. Maybe something I talked to him directly about. But
yep, yep.
let's see. Other one. Oh, look at the water here. I mean, the
Oh,
trees are
it's
lining up. The reflections are great. They're a little magnified, so they're a little big, and that's being very critical, right? Um, like
agreed.
but just beautiful, right? I mean, the colors just work amazing.
Oh, it's so good. The reflections off the water, and I also love, and it's a little hard thing to see, but if you look right at the edge of the water above the tee, above the tee marker, like there's little flowers inside his
Yeah,
plantings,
yeah,
and like
yeah,
it's that little touch that is it's not just two generic grasses that are going around. Like he spent a lot of time on detail. I just it's beautiful.
yep, yep. And then I had to put a fourth. I usually try to only do three, but then I was going through and I got to 18, and I was like, this is the last hole. And like, you just get this monster elevated drive off 18. So I had to put it in here. I try to stick to three. So, and he got the custom uh, signs here. So cool.
Yep.
So let's go. Let's go to Mayflower. So this is like I feel like Z Hanky. This was like, I think this is the classic case of a guy coming into GS Pro. I want my local course done, and it just looks
Yeah.
like your classic, municipal course. You load it up, you feel like you're home, right?
Yep.
Fairfax,
Yep.
Minnesota. I used to live in Fairfax, Virginia, so that makes me feel good
So
about
you
it
you
too.
know the air. Okay, you know
Yeah.
there.
Now this is a 9 hole. Maybe I'm getting well, the one earlier that we looked at. Are they
It was
both
18.
9? Oh, it was 18.
I think
Okay.
the other
So,
one was 18, and this was the nine that
I get
repeats.
these. Okay, so this is the 9 at repeat. I'm sorry, Scott. I got that one wrong. I apologize. Um, So yeah, let's look. So defaults here, max stimp 11. That's a little concerning. So maybe he's got some work to do in his greens. I tell you what, we talked about like working in greens. V4 is going to be awesome. You're going to be able to alter your greens inside of Unity in V4, which is going to be pretty cool, right?
Super exciting on that.
Yeah. So I can't wait for those tools to come out. They look really, really awesome. So did a good job. Looks like he customized his recommendations, put a little wind in there. So loading this up, um, I
The one
like.
thing,
Go
can I
ahead.
ask
Go ahead.
one point? If you go back one slide real quick,
Sure.
one thing to point out for folks that are playing this course is it's 1,000 yard different from white to red. And it's only 300-yard difference from blue to white. There
Ah,
is no kind of middle range. So for a league, guys, just be aware of this. Like if you're in a league with different skill levels, that's a pretty big jump going from white to red is 1,000 yards. So just be aware of that. It's not a bad thing. It's just something
yeah.
to be aware of.
I wonder if that matches real life. Guys that do the first course, they tend to get so hung up on
Yeah.
matching things. It just, hey, just take some liberties, do whatever you want. It's your course, right?
Well, I was wondering if maybe he missed a code or didn't add in a combo tee, a mix of white and
Right,
red to get that middle range.
right. Yeah, good point. So here we are loading it up. So I like at least he's got some variations, some tree colors, although I think they're a little extreme. Maybe
Yep.
tone a couple of them, get them a. I don't like the same color, but he's got these stock maples that you see here on the right, and we're gonna
Yep.
see, or I'm sorry, on the left. I'm not a fan of that tree and jump. Nothing against Z Hanky. I can't laugh every time, but I'm just not a fan of that tree in the base project. I think it needs some work, the tree.
I agree. I've used that tree before and then looked at it in GSPro and said that tree needs to go. It needs to come out of the base project between you and me.
Yeah. I like the little divot action that he added, little detail here on the tees. I think the tees look a little turfy.
Agreed. They look. I thought they were fuzzy. Like they look fuzzy. Like I know they're not. And if you get down real close in the flyover, it's a flat texture.
Yeah.
But they from up here, yeah, I agree. They look a little turfy, a little fuzzy.
Now, loading up this first course, I would be a little intimidated because we got markers here on the right. It looks narrow, but honestly, the course actually opens up quite a bit. So here's three, right?
Yep. Yep.
Love the detail with like I don't know if it's like a flower box, but like a stone, and he put all his markers up here. We'll talk about the T signs here in a second. Like that, good look there. I'm not sure
Yep.
if these trees over here were supposed to be sunken like that. They look like it could be. It works, right?
Yeah. It could be. I mean, I assume that was. I just gave that to designer choice. Like I thought maybe he
Yes,
sunk them down a
absolutely.
little bit. Yep.
Yep. Um, and then I found interesting initially when I saw this grass, I thought it looked too green, but in the shadows it looks good. Here it looks good, but if I back up, it just here I think it's a little too white. It could darken it a tad. I'm not sure. What are your
Yep.
thoughts on that?
I was thinking the same thing. Also, if you go back to like the first screenshot, if you go back to the whole number one, the tee shot there, you can see the same grass off to the left there. And off to the right, I thought it was a little bright,
Yeah, I'm not
a
sure if
little
it's
white.
specular. It could be
I don't
specular.
know. A little straight too. Like, I mean, it
Yeah,
may be like
and
that.
you actually when you said that, the one thing I noticed when I looked at this, that grass did not move, and it was a
Yeah.
little distracting.
Yeah.
Um,
So that might be an area for him to like, but you're right. I agree. Here, I think the grass looks
it
really,
looks really
really
good
good in
here.
the
I love it here.
shadow. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I mean, it may be an instance where he actually needs to mix the grasses a little bit and then
yeah.
vary the colors, vary the heights.
And I
And
think
check
this
for
might be
wind.
bare terrain here too, which is hard, really hard to
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
For that being,
But the marker signs are great.
yeah, I know, I loved it. Right, when I got to this and I zoomed in, I was like, dude, it feels like my home course.
Yeah.
The grocery store. That's great.
Well, I love I just love he put them in their own box and they got sand below, and
Yes,
I think that it looks really, really good standing on the tee.
yeah, it's a nice touch. It definitely makes this course unique to me.
Yeah,
It's
agreed.
memorable, that part. Yeah. So, okay, so your choice for must play course of the week. What is it? Of the new
Oh,
ones we just talked about.
it's torn. It's torn. Like I love um what's it domain I can't
Domain
remember how to pronounce
Laforest.
it.
Yeah, you're not
Domain
French, so you
LaForest.
don't know what it is.
Exactly. I love Domain Laforest. It's such a good course, but I'm going to tell you this: my course of the ones we looked at this week is actually going to be Tech's course, Palm Beach, only because Domain Laforest is very comfortable to me. It's something that I do a lot. It feels like a very mountain course that I've done before,
Yeah,
and Palm Beach when I loaded up Palm Beach, like you said, I felt like I was sitting in Florida.
Yeah.
And in December in Colorado, if I can transport myself to Florida, that wins every time.
Nice. Yeah, I agree. Although I'll have to go with Domain Laforest. I mean, I
Yeah.
just and the reason because I think of courses I'm going to play with my buddies in my golf league that we do here at my house. I'm loading up that one because they like elevation, right? They like that exclusive feel. Of course, I'm never going to play, so
Yeah.
that's my must play for the week is Domain Laforest. Absolutely.
Hey, it's great. You can't go wrong with either one. They're both fantastic.
All right, so we're going to do a feature course this week, and this is one that you did, right?
It is. It
And
is.
and this
Yes.
was released how long ago? Was it a week or two?
Oh, a week ago or so, because
Yeah.
they're using it in the SGT tours this week, so that it was launched right before this week's
Yeah, I
event.
noticed you had a bunch of plays. You're up to like 900 plays, so that's what happens as soon as you get that SGT tour, right? They go through the roof.
And by
Um,
the way, you get a whole lot of feedback when you get 900
you're
plays
right.
in a week.
It's a little nerve-wracking. It's a little nerve-wracking, right? So tell me about the course. What made you decide to do this one?
So this one is one of the most popular courses on the Front Range of Colorado. It is just south of Denver in Larkspur. It sits at about 6,800 feet of altitude. It
Wow.
has it has a
Wow.
good mix of altitude of elevation changes, tee to green, tee to green, both ways, down and up, but not so severe like a sanctuary type where you're looking at 50 yards down, which can be very, very intimidating.
Right?
And this is actually one of the most requested course requests that I've gotten from folks
Nice.
saying, "Hey, can you do this one?" It is rated. It has been rated, I think, 6 years in a row now, the hardest course on the front range of Colorado.
Which is
So it's
funny.
not
This we have
easy.
this course difficulty thing there in the lower right, which is an auto thing. It's not something the designer does, all right? So do not complain to the designer if that course difficulty is not right.
Yep. Yeah, and I wanted to actually talk to John about it, Johnny, to see because I wanted to understand what was making that rating. I don't know if it takes all the elevation changes. These greens are some of the, as you can see, max stimp is 11 on this one,
Yep.
and I had to tweak to get it 11. Max
Wow.
stimp was at 9, and I had to work on some of the green contours and to make them to get to 11. And there are 3 greens on here that at 11 are tough, are really, really tough. So this is a really hard course across the board.
Yeah, and it's just so here's hole one. Now we're looking live in GSPro, live from GSPro, right? And be aware, I'll turn on my frames per second here. But
Oh,
just be
sweet.
aware that's probably not going to be because my computer now is doing a bunch of different stuff. So
Yeah.
don't take that with a grain of salt right now. Um,
It is
so
not 20. Trust me, it is not 20 in frames.
yeah. And this is not a great GPU. It's my design PC, and it's actually great for design because I can kind of test stuff like this. Um, but so far, like, man, I like, first of all, the mountains. This is, the Colorado course. I like the grass, the colors. One thing I noticed, I don't want to move around to here too much because people get sick, is that you did a great job of taking the texture that you put in that deep rough, matching it to the colors you're using for the grass, which give it this much more fuller appearance than it really is. It's a designer trick, right?
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, one thing I've been trying to do a lot lately is do more in Photoshop. And I'll be honest, your videos have helped me a lot. I had my own way of doing it. I watched you and I kind of combined the two and some of the videos you put together on using Photoshop. What I've been doing lately actually is taking the textures of the grasses from GSPro from Unity and pulling those textures into Photoshop and trying to match the colors of the satellite shader to some of the colors of the grass.
Nice. That's awesome because I hopefully if because of your Photoshop work that you use as sat shaders, you understand Photoshop, you get more comfortable with it, and then you do stuff like that, right?
Yeah, it's fun. It's
Yeah.
fun. This one is also kind of unique. So this whole, I don't know if you can, you can look at the top from the top down on the right hand side of the mini map. I don't know if you can go forward.
I
It
can also go
literally
up.
is a Paul
Oh,
Bunker
look,
buffer.
there's bears. There's bears.
And then there are bears. I added bears coming across the fairway because if you can't play bear dance and not have some bears walking across the fairway.
Right.
I'm also a big fan. I think most designers are. I'm a big fan of putting Easter eggs either on the course or just off the course. I
Yep.
have a course. I won't say which one, but I have a course where my family is sitting in a table and chairs off in a house off to the side on one of the holes. So I
I
like doing those
considered
kind of
adding my
things.
house to every course I've done, kind of like that, but I haven't done it. Yeah.
So this is fun. I mean, this for the long hitters, this was reachable. It's a downhill par four. It's only 300 and I think 350 from the back tees.
And I
One
recognize this
interesting thing,
screenshot. This is the screenshot for your course in GSPro,
yeah,
like your teaser, right?
it's the signature hole of the course. And so one thing that's interesting about just a design aspect, the course from the championship tees is 7,700
Yeah,
yards or
it's long. I was going to
7,680
ask you. I hope
long.
there's a lot of drops in there, right?
There are some drops, but there's also a couple of 600, basically almost 600-yard par fives. But none of the lidar data, none of the information had any tees to support that. So I almost got done with the course. I put it in Greenskeeper, and all of a sudden I was 1,000 yards short from the championship tees. So I called down, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we added tees, a set of championship tees a year and a half ago, or whatever, since the lidar was done."
That's fun.
So I had to go in and custom build a whole set of tee boxes to support those yardages.
So what are the whole? I think you said what 612 is another good one.
16 is a good. 16
16.
is a really good one. I like 16 a lot.
Oh yeah. Oh, with the fountain and the big drop
Yeah,
here.
it's a
Yeah, the
big,
mountains.
big elevation. It's a 46-yard drop from the back tee down to the green. You've got out of bounds on the right. You've got, it's pretty open on the left. But listen, on this course, if you're left in those trees, you're in jail. I did not leave colliders off on any of the trees. Every tree and every bush has a collider. It's hard. You can. I'm not a long hitter. I'm a 240, 250 carry guy at altitude.
Yeah.
And you can poke this one down there a good 300, and the long hitters can get into that creek if they really hit it. But then you got the fountain down there, and you got houses right down behind it, which is just true to life. So
Nice.
it's just a fun, really pretty hole.
Now, is this a
You'll
custom
notice
skybox?
it. No, I actually am using a part. This is my first chance to use particle effects. Both the fountains I created particle effects, and the clouds are particle effect clouds that are just kind of scrolling with the rest of the skybox that GSPro has.
That's kind of unique. I like the way this is looking right now. It's just like it almost gives like a sense of a low cloud cover fogginess, but more dynamic than I'm used to seeing. I like it. I like
That's
it a lot.
that's what I was trying to go for. Yeah, and it doesn't hurt performance at all. I did some testing with it on and off, and there was zero performance
So what
changes.
asset gives you that particle effect? Where'd you get those from? Is that a RAM?
It's it's out of no, it's out of the nature manufacturers. They've got clouds and particle effect nature manufacturer
They got some
assets.
good stuff. They got some
Yeah, they
good
do.
stuff.
Yep. And
What are the
these
hold
these assets, by the way, there's not a single asset on this course that is from base. Everything is from nature manufacturer.
Nice. That's really cool. What do you want to look at 18 too? Is that the other one?
Yeah, we could take it. 18 is a pretty standard par five, coming back up. Nice dog leg left, coming back up the mountain
Let me
towards
go. Let me go
you
up a
can't.
little bit. Oops, I twisted around here. Where am I? Let me just reset my view here. This is our first snafu of the inaugural series here. That it's still twisting on me. There we go. Go up.
There you go.
And then there's those particle effects. That is cool. It looks like it's just coming off the winter mountain. Nice. That's
That's
so cool.
that's what I wanted to show you. What I was trying to go for was like snow blowing off the mountain, just
Yeah.
kind of coming across the valley. I was trying to go for that effect.
That is yeah, I see it. I saw it right away. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, fun course. It's getting a lot of play. I did just submit an update. There was some performance issues. Our designers, no matter how many courses we have, we still make mistakes. Found a mistake that I had made by I was double planting in some of my deep rough biomes,
This is
and so we fixed that up.
yeah, so I don't think it was your I said earlier about a terrain issue that I saw. So I'm flying underneath here, guys, and if you
Yep.
oh, maybe this is it. So see
It's
so
on
this
my outer down below.
yeah, but you see these sharp edges here? That is a huge performance killer.
Yep. Yep.
So
That was fixed. That has
okay.
been fixed and waiting for submission.
All right. Hey, you're a step ahead of me. Love it. All right. So I hope if you're listening to this and you listened to it all the way and you thought it was good, hey, subscribe to the series, like this, let us know where you saw it at, that you liked it, you want us to do more. Um, I think I'd love to do this weekly. Hopefully, of time, right? We can get
Yeah.
time, and I had fun. Any last words, Mashie?
No, I had a blast, Master. Thanks for helping put this together. I'm looking forward to doing it next week with you. I think I just love being able to look at some of these courses both from a designer lens and from a player lens. And maybe, I think I'd like to invite some of the designers to join us and walk us through their feature course next week.
Yeah, I think that sounds like fun. All right. Thanks a lot, everybody. And hopefully, if this is popular, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Exactly.